Welcome back to the Spoken Truth podcast, guys. And we're going to jump back into this live edition of this podcast featuring the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Dallas Mavericks had jumped out to a lead right now with about 7 minutes left in the second quarter, 41-33. Chaz, the Mavs others are starting to hit their shots. Those shots were not falling in game three. What has been the difference makers of them being able to make these wide open shots that they were missing in game three?
I mean, honestly, it seems like they're getting very similar shot quality. I thought a lot of those shots in game three were makeable shots. They were shots that Reggie Bullock would normally make. But they just didn't go down for whatever reason at an extreme rate too. I mean, 0 for 10 is something that you don't see from, a guy of his caliber. Max Kleber, the same thing, 0 for 5. Even Dorian Finney-Smith, I think all three of those guys have played well so far tonight. That's been a big reason why they have a 43-33 lead. But I don't know. I want to get your guys' perspective on it. It also doesn't really seem like the full intensity is there for the Warriors. What do you think of it? What do you think of Golden State's performance so far, down by 10 right now?
For me, I think that the Warriors have a tendency of turning it on and turning it off at times when they're facing an opponent. In this situation, no one seems to be as aggressive as they've been in the first three games. Wiggins doesn't seem to be asserting himself right now. Steph Curry is not asserting himself right now. Klay Thompson is doing the same thing Klay Thompson has been doing the last 6 or 7 games or so, jacking up shots. Klay Thompson is shooting 27% from the three. 27% from the three. This man is a career 39-40% three-point shooter. He's just been abysmal in this series and in the last series. The Warriors, as we see a Turner right there, just carelessly turning the ball over. Steph is the number one at doing that on that team. He makes the silly behind the back passes. He just makes the careless passes. I mean, it just so much.
What happened there? Did he think Klay was going to turn around for the?
I don't know what he was thinking in that instance. It's almost like he just threw it to the other opponent almost. So
I know Steph does, have a tendency to have some careless turnovers, but that's going to happen when you have the ball in his hands so much, and he takes so much risk. He does have 10 points, 2 assists. He is having a good night. Klay, on the other hand, like you said, he's 0 for 3 from 3, 0 for 4 from the field. So, Klay getting going is definitely something to watch.
Yeah. What is Klay? What is Steph's field goal percentage? What is he shooting?
He is.
Good question.
3 for 5, 1 for 1 from 3.
3 for 5, 1 for 1 from 3. Yeah, so it's not bad. And as we've seen in this series, no lead is safe with the Warriors. So this 12-point lead is really not a big margin, just because it is still the middle of the second quarter. The Warriors just making a little run to end this at halftime could go in their favor, because we all know that the third quarter belongs to the Warriors. It might as well just be a separate team. It might as well be a 31st team in the third quarter, because that team just comes out and obliterates opponents. And they've won every single third quarter in this series. I don't expect anything to be different. Again, I expect Luka to be great, but that is not enough to, obviously win this series. But I think this will be a sweep tonight. So I think a lot of people are thinking that, having that mentality, a lot of people that I spoke with. But again, the Warriors do tend to play down to their opponent, especially when they're up. So I definitely would like to get Tunde's point on that, just because he picked the Mavs to win this series. And what are you seeing from them and how they came out and played? And why is Damian Lee on the court? I thought he lost his minutes. I just noticed he was on the court. I thought he lost his minutes.
He was terrible the other night.
Which question?
Oh my goodness! Why is he on the court?
It was crazy. I've never seen somebody basically lose a game in 5 minutes in the second quarter. That shit was wild.
He was a minus 12 in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And it wasn't even like I mean, even besides the fact that if you're a minus 12 in 5 minutes, like it was you, like you didn't need the plus minus to know it was him.
Yeah, it definitely was him. You saw him on the floor, and you knew it was him. Like, oh, Damian Lee is on the floor, and like, why?
It was misrotation. It's misrotations. It's honestly like the fact that he really only has like one bankable skill for he has one like high level bankable skill for this Warriors team, and he's not the guy that does it the best out of all of the bench guys. So it's like that's shooting. So it's like why do these minutes go to him? Like you can live with if you think Moses Moody is a slightly worse shooter than Damian Lee, you can live with Moses Moody minutes because Moses Moody can survive on the court defensively. Damian Lee. But anyway, what I'm seeing from Dallas tonight is it's really just a lot of what we saw in Game 2 and Game 3, and they're making shots. I will say one thing we're seeing at a higher level. Seeing them do it at a higher level tonight is that this is a team that plays off of Luka Doncic primarily, and it's get in the lane. Create an advantage, and then he's either looking to finish or it's a swing, to somebody else. So off of those swings and those extra passes in Game 1, in Game 3, or in Game 2 and Game 3 specifically, we're getting exclusively 3-point shot attempts. I think a lot of which were good shot attempts, but some of which you would like to see a little bit more, them come with a little bit more force in trying to get 2 feet in the paint, or shot fake, one dribble mid range. So I think what we've gotten tonight from Dallas is, and Frank hitting threes, good Lord.
Right.
What we've gotten a lot of tonight from Dallas is the guys like Dorian Finney-Smith have been able to catch the ball, rip through.
They're 11 and 20 from 3-point range.
Yeah, and go finish in the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but the reason to me why this doesn't scare me for a person that's rooting for the Warriors is that they shot so great. I think they shot 55%. No, they shot it better than that. I think they were like almost 60% in Game 3 in the first half. So they were excellent from 3-point range in the first half, but couldn't buy a 3 in the second half. So to me, if I'm the Warriors, I got to stay afloat. I got to just hover around that 10-8. If I can get it to single digits, that's a win-win. But because the way that the recipe of how this game is looking is how Game 3 played. And Dallas seems to make everything right now. But when it came to the second half, it seemed like that rim shrunk more and more and more. So if I'm the Warriors, if I'm Steve, I
was going to say the same thing happened in Game 2 as well.
Yeah. So if I'm the Warriors, I just got to get it down to 10, maybe get it down to 8. Coming, going to the third quarter, manageable lead. And they came back from 19 at halftime. So getting it down to almost single digits is a win for that Warriors team. So if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm saying, all right, guys, they've outplayed us this first half. Let's get this down to 10-8. Let's go back and refocus at halftime. Because the shots that they're getting right now, we know from history that they're not going to hit at this high clip that they've been hitting in the first quarter. Second quarter.
They might be able to do it for the whole game.
They might, but we have yet to see it this series.
And I know we say we've yet to see it this series, but like it's a pretty high shot quality on average. Like it's a lot of, like these threes are not. There's not a ton of step back threes. They're not they're not like super difficult makes. It's like Dorian Finney-Smith is catching and shooting the ball in the corner. Like Reggie Bullock is catching and shooting the ball in the wing. Those are really good shots for really good shooters. I think you can trust them, though. They should make those at a pretty high clip. They keep looks.
Chad, so do you think they could keep this up? This impressive shooting? they're 12 for 20. Do you think they could keep that up going into the third and fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. I don't think they have to shoot at a 60% clip to win this game, given they're already up by 14. They could shoot slightly worse in that second half and still be able to win, but they just have to make sure that they keep their foot on the pedal because, like you said, Golden State is going to come out aggressive in that third quarter, try and make a run and get back into it. But, I mean, the Warriors have to be better on defense if they are going to win this game because allowing, the 12 3-pointers, 56 points already, they're probably going to get, close to 65, 70 points in this first half. And that's not a recipe to win.
And Luka's 3 for 11, so it's not like he's killing you.
Yeah.
It's the others that's doing a lot of this heavy lifting, which bodes well for Dallas because Luka, he knows that he can rely on his others right now to be able to make makeable shots, and he can turn it on slowly but surely come third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around where he, gets off to the quick start and then they kind of rely on their other guys to carry them between those middle quarters. But when the guys shoot, good from the tip off, then it really helps them. Obviously up 58-45 right now.
Yeah, 13-point lead for the Dallas Mavericks. What about 2.5 minutes left in this first half? So now that we've seen almost a half of this, this basketball game, what do we think the Warriors are doing other than not playing as aggressive and not playing well on defense? If you're Steve Kerr, Tunde, what are the adjustments you're making for Golden State to get us back in this game?
So it's tough because from a personnel perspective, I don't like right now you aren't super happy about the Warriors defensive personnel. And this is also where so step one, it's like I hate to make it sound like this, but like Damian Lee can't be on the court.
I think we know that.
Play Moses Moody.
Yeah.
Moody and Kuminga. But so that's like step one. I don't even think it's that he's been egregious tonight. But just in general.
They're like brothers-in-law, I think.
Yeah,
they're brothers-in-law. I think that's the reason he's still on the team, honestly.
Okay, that shouldn't be the reason he's in the game, though.
I know, right?
Get a roster spot.
I know. I literally think that's the reason why he's on the team. But there's no way Damian Lee should still be in this game.
He's not at this point. But like, if you watch the Warriors during their the season that led to them being able to mistakenly draft James Wiseman.
Did you say mistakenly?
I did, yes. Mistakenly draft James Wiseman.
Even if he turns out,
are you saying Wiseman a bust?
I mean, I don't want to say all that. It's like this was year 2. I won't do that to him. I was and Chaz, you'll recall this as we've talked about this quite a few times. I was never as enamored with James Wiseman as the general public was. Never. Yeah. So I mean, at this point, he hasn't really been able to. He hasn't, changed my mind on that. Although,
he hasn't played.
He was hurt all year, so
yeah,
that's not his fault. And anyways, enough about James Wiseman. James Wiseman isn't playing tonight. Yeah, the Warriors. Yeah, like the Warriors' defensive personnel is part of why I picked against them in this series. So like Jordan Poole is getting run through right now, and he's getting involved in pretty much every action the Mavericks can involve him in, whether it's a pick and roll. Dallas really doesn't want to switch that, so they're doubling the ball, or you're getting a hard hedge. Off that hard hedge, you're getting guys like Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, who are they're not even really setting the screen. They're slipping it or they're ghosting it, relocating for 3. And then once they relocate for 3, the rest of the possession, as a defense, you're scrambling. The offense has the advantage. Now you're scrambling, you're trying to catch up to that. And that's where I think this game so far is where Dallas is winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
Games 2 and 3, like I said before, it was a 3 out of those situations every single time. Tonight we're seeing a little bit more shot diversity. We're seeing guys, again, like Dorian Finney-Smith, we've seen him do it 2 or 3 times. catch, rip, attack the basket. In some of those situations, you have somebody flying out at you, flying out at you, and they're out of control on the contest. You give them a little up fake, you just rip through, you just go by, go finish it through, and get you a layup.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the Warriors, I don't know that we have a great remedy for this problem, actually. I think the remedy for the problem is probably what we've seen them do at several points within this series, which is going zone.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see some, an extended look at them going zone in the second half.
Yeah, I think when Kerr made that decision in that third quarter of Game 3, not only were they playing one zone, but they were going in and out from a 2-3 to a box and one. Mixing in different man coverages as well. Like, I think Kerr was just trying to give them as many looks as possible. He was trying to make it different on possession by possession, so they had something to figure out almost every single time down. You don't want to give them the same look probably more than three times in a row. And it seemed like that really threw them out of that rhythm in Game 3. So maybe we see something like that in Game 4. After Mavericks having that happen to them. Hopefully Jason Kidd would have an ability to try and fight, counterpunch that. So maybe we'll see that in the second half, but I don't know how much that Kerr is gonna, want to do. They're already down by 15. Do you think that's something that he kind of saves for the second half, or do you think if he was going to do it tonight, he would have already tried it?
I think it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think this game is well in reason. 15 points. I mean, it's the second half of basketball, man, left. 15 points in the NBA is not much, especially when you have the firepower that the Golden State has. So, I mean, to me, I always said no lead is safe when you're playing against a team that has lethal weapons like they have. So, I don't like the way they have been playing. I don't like the way that they've been playing on defense. But the same point that you were talking about earlier, Tunde, about defense is the same reason why they're coming after Luka every single time. Because I'm sorry, they just called a double. My bad. Rarely see doubles in the NBA, so I'm shocked when they ever call it. So just how they're coming attacking Jordan Poole in their offensive sets. They're hunting Luka on their offensive sets. So when your best player is being put in every single pick and roll imaginable, I mean, it's going to wear on him. It's going to force others to beat us. And so far that has worked in Dallas' favor because the others have beat them. But right now, if I'm the Warriors, I'm saying, okay, we're down. I think they're down 14 right now, 14, 15. 15. The 15. I just glanced at it real quick. Now they're down 15. Now this is what we're going to do. So the third quarter are known. If I'm Jayson Tatum, I'm saying I know that this team is going to come out explosive in the third quarter. We have to figure out how to stop them, A, or B, how to weather their storm and still come out of that storm with the lead. Because if you give that lead away in the third quarter, this game is over. So Dallas, they know the lead, they know the storm's coming. So they have to be able to weather that initial storm in the third quarter from the Warriors. If they do that and still being able to hit their shots, Dallas should come out of here with this win. If they don't, Dallas is going to get swept. And Luka, again, he's 4 for 12 right now. So he's not having an overly impressive game. So I expect that offense to come in the third and fourth quarter. He scored 20 plus in the fourth quarter the other game. He's going to need to do that again. But he needs to do that in crunch situations. He scored 20 points when it really wasn't close. So I need him to show up in the fourth quarter when it matters, because I have a feeling that they're going to need to close out this game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're right. I think the Warriors are going to come out, with that intensity that we see out of them a lot in that second half. And I assume that they're going to get back into this. I think it's probably going to be a single-digit game going to the fourth quarter, and then we'll really see, who's going to be able to take this game. Um, Coming into tonight, I thought there was a real possibility that the Warriors win it, but I was leaning the Mavericks to extend it to 5. Up 15 at the half. I'm still going to stick with that, but it's still a game that is within reach for the Warriors. So the Mavericks really have to come out in this second half and make sure that they take care of it.
When you're in this type of situation, and you theoretically, if the Warriors were to win this game tonight, they would have about a week of rest before the NBA Finals. When you're looking at stuff like that, does that matter when you're talking about messing up your team's rhythm and getting them out of sorts of having so many days off? Or at this point in time, I think everyone needs rest. So what are your initial impressions on, if they do close it out tonight, that it's that long extended rest that they would get before game 1 of the NBA Finals, which is June 2nd, by the way, guys, for those listening out there. First NBA Final game is going to be June 2nd, and we will have live coverage of that game.
So is that next Thursday, right?
It's next Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
So if they win tonight, they will have, I think it would be a full week.
More than a week.
More than a week of rest, yeah. So is that too much? If I'm the Warriors, is that too much? Or how do you deal with that situation? If you're the coach.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I feel like you kind of worry about, but it's more something that you might see some rust in game 1 of the finals, but I don't really think that's something to worry about. If you have a chance to end a series, you always want to do it. Even if you are going to have, an extended period of rest, you never want to have to go home and play game 5, potentially put somebody else in danger of getting hurt or whatever the case may be. You just never want to take that chance. So I think you just, you wrap it up tonight. You deal with the problems that a long rest does cause, because there are issues with that. If you have 8-9 days off, whatever it is, like there are going to be things that you have to deal with, but it's better than the alternative.
You are listening to the Spoken Truth podcast live on YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube at Spoken Truth, and you can also follow us on Spotify. All you gotta do is type in Spoken Truth podcast in your search engine.